So here's the thing. I feel like when we have no content, we end up being long-winded. And so like the actual cut episode will end up being 22 minutes, but we'll go like way over.
Oh my God. You don't need to show off your point while you're making it. Howdy, it's Tuesday, December 10th, 2019, and this is episode 113 of Due for a Win, the Atlantic City and Casino Biz podcast. I'm Kyle Askin, joined, as always, by Craig Stone. What's good, Craig?
I'm feeling rested and relaxed. It's good to take a nice 3-week break yet again between episodes.
Though I have to say, the episode numbers are getting bigger and bigger. It's becoming more unwieldy to say them every week.
I know you need the 3 weeks just to recover from
I know, I'm
reading.
like stretched to the limits of my ability right now. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up.
It is, adding probably a significant percentage to the amount of time speaking that you have in any given episode.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have to say, for our listeners, in case you don't know, if you want to really hear a lot of not me talking very much, listen to our very early episodes where Craig is the host as well.
Yeah, I think we switched on episode 25, right?
Did we?
I think that's right.
Because we had noted at that point, I think every episode was 96% Craig talking and 4% me talking. And after the switch, it's more like 80-20, which is good.
So if you want to go back to 96% and 4%, send an email, or maybe we'll put a poll up in the Facebook group. Anyways, this is the show. We're not going to change it.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's too late at this point. We're 113 in, so...
We are truly old dogs with no new tricks.
I like that you were drinking there and could not speak. That's my only hope for getting in a word.
And you didn't. That's the worst part. This is why I have to talk all the time.
So anyway, year 2013, online gambling was legalized in New Jersey on February 26th. So... that is the big news. It was long rumored. We talked about PokerStars' attempt last episode to buy the Atlantic Club because everyone knew this was coming, but this is when it happened. And yeah, it's a super important part of the gambling ecosystem in New Jersey now.
Yeah, so the reason that this is especially relevant to Atlantic City, in case you don't know the rules, you have to have a physical casino in Atlantic City, or you have to be affiliated with the physical casino in Atlantic City to be able to offer online gambling in New Jersey. So you can offer online gambling statewide, but you have to have that physical footprint in New Jersey. So, you get things like Play Sugar House, which Sugar House Casino is in Philadelphia, but they have affiliation with, I don't even know which casino. So there are like all these online sports books, but they're all affiliated and like leeching off of another casino's actual casino license. So that's why there's a lot of value in it for the Atlantic City properties, and that's why PokerStars wanted the Atlantic Club, which they did not get. Yeah,
so Revel filed for Chapter 11 in February, and Atlantic Club did the same in November, and I have to say that both were huge success stories, successfully restructured, and are the thriving enterprises they are today, right?
Yeah, Chapter 11, you can come out of Chapter 11. It doesn't mean that you're shutting down immediately. Did not happen in these cases.
No, they were both 2015, right? For final closure.
2014. They were in the massive closures of 2014. So Golden Nugget not doing amazing right now in brick and mortar.
Yeah, they're raking it in and online though.
So, if who knows what Revel would have ended up doing, because who knows if they would have even made an online casino, because that's how poorly it was run. But if Atlantic Club had just stuck it out for a little longer, do you think they could have brought in some profit and still be there today as the Atlantic Club?
I think if there was like a big enough partnership, like with PokerStars, like it may have made sense, but it would have been completely on the back of online. I don't think that casino is going to succeed as a brick and mortar enterprise.
Yeah.
Beyond just keeping the doors open so you could offer online gambling.
Yeah, and the problem was, of course, the state, when they talked about this, and Chris Christie, who was a big proponent of it, the governor at the time, when they talked about it, they talked about just giant numbers that were going to come in. And it's really taken now, 6 years for those numbers to come up to anything even resembling what they were talking about. And they thought it was just going to be this immediate flip a switch and then there would just be massive revenue. And so we're only now to really a point where it seems like the online is a really significant part of the revenue that these casinos take in. So, you could say, if they just had made it to, another year, if they could hung on for 6 months and really had an online gambling operation, but really they probably would have needed to hang on for another 4 or 5 years. And that was not going to happen, I don't think, for either of those properties.
No, and I just don't think it was going to happen. As much as I love Atlantic Club and want to buy it, with all of our due for a win earnings. Yeah, I don't think it was meant to be.
True.
So Carl Icahn nixed a deal to sell Trump Plaza for $20 million to the company that owns Grand Sierra Resort in Reno. And even though to you, listener, that may not sound like very much money, I will tell you that I think the offers in future years will go down from there. So it's a little preview for what's coming up.
Yeah, so Trump Entertainment Resorts had a deal in place, and it got to Icahn, who I guess is the mortgage holder. He wasn't like actively managing the property at that point, and he just said, no, that price is too low.
Yeah, you would have to think, looking back on that, he wishes he had taken it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's been sitting on it ever since then, and I just can't imagine that he's like, ooh, that was a good decision. What a job well done on my crumbling Trump Plaza property that I think until recently he still had to pay $1 million a year or whatever to somebody for property rights. I think he finally paid that guy off. It's really good. Yeah.
So what happened in 1913, Craig?
One of our favorite places in Atlantic City.
Probably the favorite, I would say.
We're very sarcastic when we look back on 2013 and 1913.
I mean, I think I'm very sarcastic all the time, but I wonder how many new listeners are just very confused all the time listening to us. Especially
the start of episodes. But the Garden Pier opened on July 19th, 1913. And when it opened, it was, further up the boardwalk, not near the sort of center of the boardwalk at the time, things like the Steel Pier. And it was the upscale pier. It had B.F. Keith's Theater, which held premieres of plays like Tobacco Road that would go on to become long-running Broadway shows. And then, after about 20 years of catering to high rollers, it's, I guess, high rollers in the non-gambling sense, it struggled in the 30s, ended up being bought by the city in 1944, and at this point we're really talking about the mega down years of Atlantic City when it was being used as World War II training ground, I think.
And it had barracks and stuff like that, more or less.
Yeah, so the city did reopen it as the Garden Pier Civic Center, and that had a historical exhibition, a fountain, and a band shell. And I don't know how long that lasted. I know that it was closed for a while after Hurricane Sandy. There's still a museum there.
Yeah, there's a museum there for a while.
And then it closed after Hurricane Sandy, and it may have opened for days, and then they finally were like, this is too much, and they sold it to Bart Blatstein in 2016. And if you remember, it very, very briefly opened as a beer garden called Pier AC in 2017, which we've made fun of a lot.
Talked about on Due for a Win.
And now it seems to be, Bart Blatstein's garbage?
Yeah. Literally, if you look at it, half the time it's just full of stuff that obviously no one wants.
So I remember when I was 10, younger probably, playing Monopoly, and the little snotty kids would be making up fake names for all the properties. And Marvin's Garbage always, to this day I remember, Marvin's Garbage. Bart Blatstein's Garbage is the new Monopoly.
So important question, Craig. Which piece did you prefer in Monopoly?
I think the dog.
Oh, come on, man. That was always the cannon. The cannon is the best. Yeah.
I think I for some reason I feel like I ended up either as the dog or the wheelbarrow all the time.
Mm.
The wheelbarrow is not exciting.
A poor effort all around, but I think car's better. The thimble, even the thimble's pretty. It's interesting at least.
I think my brother always wanted to be the car, which makes sense to this day.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, hey, that's very Atlantic City related talk because of Monopoly.
The most Atlantic City. So, the Garden Pier. How about that?
Yeah. Do you think it'll ever be opened as anything in the time that we're still going to Atlantic City?
I hope so.
Once Blatstein sells it?
Probably.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your bet that the Bart's box of slots is going to open anytime soon?
Yeah. No, I might as well just give you the money for that one now. Put it on
We
my
need to
tab.
crank out the episodes to get to episode 200. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's the whole reason that I've been delaying these episodes. That's why we're
Yeah.
going 3 weeks. Is like I can add 50% of my time and save that $10 bet or whatever it is.
So speaking of pumping out episodes, listeners, I think we're probably going to do a mailbag episode for the next episode, given that it's going to be the holiday soon, and I don't think that recording's really going to be in the cards because you'll be traveling some, and it's going to be hard for us. So
And there's just not going to be any news to speak of.
yes, if you would like us to answer any questions, you can send them to Craig on Twitter at DoForAWin or shoot them to our email account at doforawin@gmail.com, and we would love to answer them. And you'll probably have about a week to send them in because we'll probably try to record at the end of next week, and then maybe we'll get it up then or perhaps the following week of Christmas.
Sounds good.
It does sound good. Do you like my unilateral decision?
Yeah, I'm indecisive, so I need somebody to make decisions for me. And
That's right.
good.
That's why we go well together. I do have to say that if I had one word to describe you, it would be indecisive.
Looking for a reason to give up. That's significantly more than one word.
That's right.
Speaking
of
giving up,
which, you still have not used your Diamond Celebration dinner. Is it going to happen?
yeah, my parents are going to take our kids while I'm down for Christmas, and we're going to try to go to the GDL by Giada de Laurentiis at Horseshoe Baltimore, which I think is both how you and Dave used your Diamond Celebration dinner this year.
Yeah, I actually used it there 2 years running now, and I actually think it's a very good restaurant. I've enjoyed it both times I went. So
My wife is a huge fan of the Italian food, so I think
as is mine.
That will go over well.
And I am not a big fan at all of Italian, but even I think it's pretty good. So highly recommended. Anyway, we were hoping to announce a trip, although if we were going to announce a trip, it would have probably been last week that we would have recorded. We were trying to go this week on Thursday and or Friday, but it seems like it's not happening, dude.
It
What's up?
seems like it's not. Yes, it's Tuesday night. It seems like it's not. Yeah, so
I still have off from work. I mean, I can still do it.
So what are you just going to go to work at this point and be like, oh, just kidding, I wasn't actually going to take time off? Or
Yeah, so I worked on Thanksgiving and Black Friday, so I have 2 days I kind of need to take sooner rather than later because it's not officially on the schedule. Like, they prefer you take it not too long afterwards. So I think I'll probably still end up at least taking Friday off regardless.
going to the Horseshoe?
Maybe.
No, so I ended up with some work complications that made it so that taking any time off in the next 2 weeks would look extremely, extremely bad. I work at a university for one thing, so it's like the end of the semester and should be the rush, but then also like we're down to skeleton crew and losing another person who's supposed to do support. So unfortunately, yeah, I really thought there was some finagling about would it be Thursday, would it be Friday, and I really, at no point did I think it was actually going to fall through until was it Monday, Friday? It was very recently. It was certainly less than a week before.
It was
we were
Friday.
supposed to go.
It was Friday that you said it's just not going to happen. The 6th, I think, is when you are declared that you're not going.
Yeah.
Even though you actually haven't declared that yet, to my knowledge. But
Yeah, no, I'm not going, in case that was unclear. Yeah, so we need a follow-up. We need a rain check.
So it's up to you again. I've reached out to people. I'm going to try to make a big trip happen in January, and then you've already thrown a kink into it, being like, "Well, I don't know about early January." So what's going on, man?
So my wife's anniversary. My wife's anniversary is at the start of January, and we typically go to Atlantic City for one night.
Mm-hmm.
So that will either be the weekend after New Year's or the weekend after that. My wife actually is asking for earlier. She was pushing for the 4th, which I think...
4th is my preference for you to go as well.
Yes. So that would actually make it easier because I think then, 18th, 25th, whatever, all those work. So
11th.
So wait. Would you, if you're pushing for a bigger trip, would that be a weekend trip for you?
I think I would push for like Wednesday through Saturday or something like that.
Whoa, you're not kidding about a big trip. Like a 3-nighter.
A 3-nighter. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night.
When was the last time you stayed 3 nights in Atlantic City?
Oh boy. Before my first kid, I think. I think the trip we took that we talked about on episode 1, I think that was it. I think that was 3 nights, right? It might have only been 2.
No, I think that was only 2.
Oh, I don't know then. I mean, in the good old days, all of my trips were 3-day trips, more or less.
Oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. I'm honestly not sure I've ever been on a 3-night AC trip.
But
Vegas,
my goal,
certainly. There's no point in flying out there if you're not going to.
you know, I invited my friend that I went to school with, but who went to Hong Kong with me and our other friend Andy, who is going to be having a baby at any moment now. But yeah, I invited Greg along, so he would be flying in from Phoenix. So I feel like it'd have to be at least some amount of time for him to do the 5 or 6 hour flight from Phoenix to Philadelphia.
3 nights, man, that would be amazing. I just looked it up. I've never done a 3-night trip in Atlantic City. 2 nights is the most I've ever done, which I've done a bunch of times.
I mean, I'm not expecting you to be able to pull a 3-night trip.
No, 3 nights not happening. I might be able to pull 2 though.
Yeah, like you think you can get Andrea to drop the kids off on a Friday morning?
Ooh, good question. No.
So you will be doing a 1-night trip.
Well, or staying until Sunday morning.
Yeah. My goal, what I'm aiming for, is a Wednesday through Saturday, probably either the 8th through 11th or 15th through 18th would probably be best, but we'll see.
Okay. 8th through 11th would be extraordinarily difficult for me. I would not be able to go on the 8th because that's my actual anniversary. It's not happening.
All right. 15th through 18th, is that what we're marking down? You'll be there all 3 nights?
Yes, mark it down.
All right.
In the thinnest
very light
of pencil. Yeah,
yes.
in chalk. So that's planned. Mark, put that on. It's on the
done.
calendar.
I think listeners, you can definitely write that in permanent marker. Surely there will not be any changes. Craig won't have any other weird life things that happen to come up and ruin everything.
Yeah, this wasn't even my weird life thing. So, should we talk about the podcast superiority pool? Because I am...
there's not much to say. I mean, we're doing exceptionally well and are not even close to the lead. So
we are now 14 points behind the 7 Out podcast for first place. Max points per week is 6 points because you do a 3-point pick, a 2-point pick, and a 1-point pick against the spread, your confidence level. And so we could go perfect the next 2 weeks, and 7 Out could go 0 for 6 the next 2 weeks, and we would still not have caught up to them. And there are only 3 weeks left in the season.
And what's our record?
27-15.
It's unbelievable. We're almost winning 2/3 of our games, and we are more than 2 weeks behind.
Vito also 27-15, but 4 points ahead of us because he is better on the higher number picks. Mm-hmm. 7 Out 30-12. 30-12. That is 71%.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
What can you do? When you get hit by a freight train, you just have to be like, well, nothing to be done there. It's not like we could hope for a better performance from ourselves because I think we're running as hot as we can.
Yeah. Sometimes you're beaten by the best.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Well, but I think we're hoping for, maybe Vito will stumble and we can sneak into second and save our money.
So second gets their money back. We also still have the charity bet against the Better Life. And that bet, which I got mocked for giving them, what was it, 1.5? It was Better Life plus 1.5 on the season total when we were only up by 1 when that bet was made. We are now 8 ahead of them, so I'm feeling good about that. Good. None of my dollars will go to charity. Let's just establish that right now.
That's what the bet was about, right?
It is.
I mean, if your dollars went to charity, what would be the point of even betting?
That's true. I have to bring that up with Eric. By the way, are we going to have a 7-9 division winner in the NFC East?
You know how great it's going to be when the winner of the East is 7-9 and hosts like a 13-3 wildcard team out of the West.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be even more amazing when they win that game. I'm actually really annoyed though that the Eagles came back and won yesterday because if they had lost, a 6-10 division winner would have still been in play. But now,
I know
both the Eagles and Dallas have 6 wins and they play each other. So you could have 6-9-1.
You could have 6-9-1.
That would be fantastic.
And yeah, they're going to play the 49ers or the Seahawks or whatever, and
it's unreal.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Don't know what to say.
I mean, it's kind of good for the 49ers or Seahawks, right? Like you get a wild card. You're playing one of these just crap teams.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to lose. I think it's just the way football has been.
It really is, yeah. The first round especially just feels like...
I mean, so I do want to say about the podcast superiority pool, we foolishly, once again, even though we both knew it was a trap, we're like, Seattle was favored by 1 or something in the pool against the Rams, and then the line immediately moved to like Rams +2 or Rams -2, and we're like, this just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Like, nothing about this makes sense. And it's the second time this season this has happened. It also happened when it was the Packers were at the Chargers, and like the Packers opened as like a moderate favorite, and then it basically moved to even money, and we're just like, the Chargers are terrible. Like, what is this? And in both cases, the team that we believed was terrible before the game just absolutely blew the doors off the other team. So I don't know. I don't understand.
A lot of other people fell into this trap, at least. Like, people had Seattle as their 3-point pick. We did not do that. We only had...
we talked specifically about how we liked it, but we're just confused by the line movement and did not want to put too much on it.
I couldn't even find a real explanation of why it moved, but...
Sometimes you just look at things and you're like, you know what? The people know something. I don't know it. I'm just going to trust them. And in this case, they saved us a point or two. If we fully trusted them, we could have saved ourselves one more point by betting on something else. But
yeah, we probably would have lost the other one. That's what I tell myself.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This football is weird. It makes no sense. I don't understand betting.
Yeah, except, I mean, we're pretty good at it for the most part.
Apparently. All right. So Ocean has a new CEO.
That happened.
It did happen. A lady CEO.
It's true. Very rare in the casino industry. I'll link to the Wayne Perry article about it, but Ocean Casino Resort, the Ocker as we call it, has appointed Terry Glabaki as its CEO. So she's been in the interim role since August, so it's not like this is somebody from nowhere. She was also, I think, the COO at Revel. She previously worked for Tropicana. She was at Trump Entertainment Resorts. No, she's the CFO at Revel. So she has been at the property for a while in different capacities. So the article points out there have been female executives in AC casinos before, but she will be the only one at the moment. Any thoughts on the new CEO?
No, I mean, it seems like from all the numbers we've been looking at, Ocean is turning it around. Is probably a bit much to say, but it's not doing as badly as it was doing. So hopefully she can keep it going.
So one thing that she said is she reads every social media post she can find from customers about the casino.
Do you believe that?
I mean, if she does, then she saw a lot of stuff from Eric Rosenthal, Jim from New York. Who else was in on that pylon there? Ed, I think, got in on it. So, yeah, I mean, they took a lot of heat. They did sort of reverse course on that comp expiration thing, although not after they wiped out all their comp liability, or most of it. Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're doing reasonably okay compared to what they were doing before, and she's been in the interim role for a few months, so...
I do have to say that I've been getting incredibly generous offers since the last time we went to Ocean. I don't know if I mentioned it last episode, but like really, really like head and shoulders above what I get from any other casino. So,
and it's not like you've gambled there a ton, right?
No, but you know, it's like every day, like $75 free play. And, you know, I have 7-night-a-week comps, which in the winter is not too impressive, but
so
better than a sharp stick in the eye.
My brother and I both got the same email today, which was like, congrats, you got a bonus comp night.
Yeah, I got that too.
And so what days did it list for you? Do you know?
It was just like a couple days in the next week, I think.
Yeah, but like you're already getting...
Yeah, I have 7-night-a-week comps.
7-night-a-week comps, it doesn't make any sense. So it was all weekdays for me.
But my trips could only be 3 days, so perhaps I could have used that to make a 4-day trip if I really wanted.
No. Because the asterisk said cannot be used to
combine 2 trips.
To combine 2 trips, yeah.
But so, I think it would be allowed to make a 4-night trip with that.
You think?
Yeah, so because you have to check out for at least a day, right? Like all casinos do this basically. That, you know, you can have whatever the limit is for a comp, you know, 3 nights, 5 nights, whatever. Then you have to check out for a full day, and then you can go back and start another trip. But
right, so in that case you would have to like go for 3 nights, check into somewhere else, and then go for another night, right?
But I think with this it's wouldn't count as another trip. I think you could make a 4-night trip if you were me. Or like what do you get now?
I get 2 nights Sunday through Friday, so every night but Saturday.
Okay. I think you could make a 3-night trip with this thing. You just couldn't have two 2-night trips that you stick together with it.
I'm skeptical, but
it doesn't matter. I mean,
I'm not going to use it.
No need to go to Ocean for 7 days or whatever I'd be able to do if I could stick these together.
That's a good point. I'm sure one of our more comp-aware listeners has the full reasoning and everything behind that. Because I took it to mean, like, I couldn't tack it on to my existing trip. Like, if I had 2 comp nights, I couldn't then add that as a 3rd comp night. Because I'm limited to 2 comp nights.
Yep.
All right.
So Ocean is also no longer affiliated with Hyatt. So I know a lot of people were really bemoaning the loss of, paying 12,000 Hyatt points in the summer to get a weekend night, which I did do once to put my in-laws up in a room. So certainly something I've used in the past, but it is going away and will not be here next summer. So, and certainly you should never, ever, ever do that in the off season. So.
Yeah, I had used it for 2 nights, the last 2-night trip I went. So whatever that was, August 2018. And it is pretty disappointing. It's nice to have that in your pocket as an option, especially in the summer. I sort of end up racking up a ton of not Hyatt points, but Chase Sapphire Reserve points that I can then transfer to Hyatt.
Just tons of them.
Yeah, so just not having that
in them.
Not having that as an option kind of sucks. And I mean, it's not like I don't have other options or can't just pay for the room, but it was good. It felt obviously not as good as comped, but the next best thing, I feel. I know a bunch of people who are really into points are like, that's just money. I'm sure you will say the same thing.
It's just money.
But it doesn't feel like money, Kyle. That's how they get you.
It's currency that you can use to purchase things. I don't know. Isn't that what money is?
You can purchase things like a room at Ocean on a weekend that you couldn't have otherwise gotten.
Actually, you can't, Craig, because it's going away.
It's true. So it seems like they'll still honor them through the end of this year.
Yeah.
I think December 30th, not the 31st. And then it's just going to completely go away. So,
the biggest news of the week, unfortunately, is that for the first time in Due for a Win history, you've been able to finally link an NY Post article talking about how the Arena Football League has officially folded.
This is definitely not the first time I've linked to an NY Post article, because they had some talk about some Carl Icahn stuff back in the day when around the Taj Mahal closing.
They seem like the sort of paper that would really, really like Carl Icahn. So,
yeah, I don't know if they do or not. That's a good question. I should go back and look at that.
Okay,
because I could
seem
also
like the
see
sort
them...
of paper that my Google feed or whatever on my phone is always like, you must read this article about, and it's like Sam Darnold hooking up with a girl after his win, and it's at a bar. And I'm like, why would you ever think this is a thing I care about? Like, what any part of my search history says that this is something I want to read?
Awesome. Sounds right. So this thing, very similar to that story, it's football related. The Arena Football League has folded, which we sort of knew was going to happen when they announced that they were ceasing all operations temporarily and were reassessing the situation. So they've reassessed and decided the business model doesn't work in the current climate. What can you say? Sometimes Vince McMahon and the XFL just muscles you out. And
well, Ron Jaworski's going to have to be extra nice to his ESPN overlords now that his business venture didn't work out.
I'm going to guess he was not exactly raking it in on the Arena Football League.
Yeah, that's why he has to be extra nice to everyone at ESPN. Got to keep making that paycheck from his day job.
Yeah, so all your blackjack swag, if you got it for the one season that the blackjacks existed.
It's going to be so cheap on eBay.
It should remind you of the Baltimore Stallions, which I believe were
Grey
one
Cup
season
winners.
Won the Grey Cup and then moved.
Yeah, it was like, was it only, they were here for like 2 or 3 seasons.
It might have been 2 seasons.
It might have been. I think we'll go 2. I went to a game at the Memorial Stadium.
Yes, they played 2 seasons. I was going to say for the sake of the podcast, I'm saying 1, but they did play 2 seasons. So that's that. Another short-lived sports team in the history of Atlantic City. Professional, but, not Big Four sports.
Yes.
Clearly the answer is to put a Big Four sports team in. Let's get the NBA playing in Boardwalk Hall.
Yeah, sorry, 76ers. You're going to have to move just down the expressway.
It'd be awesome.
Would be great. They should play one game a year in Atlantic City.
Yeah, I think the Wizards play a couple games at Baltimore Arena. Baltimore Arena is like falling apart.
Yep. Oh, it's the worst.
I mean, I still love it because of going to minor league hockey games there when I was 7 years old.
Skipjacks?
Yeah, Baltimore Skipjacks. They were great.
I went to every Baltimore Blast game and by every I mean just an awful lot, but not everyone.
Baltimore Blast still exist.
Yeah. Well, I went to a lot of Baltimore Blast games, and then I went to a lot of Baltimore Spirit games. Oh, yeah. But I don't think I've been to a Blast game since it came back as the Blast.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the news. There was not much of it.
The sort of talk that our listeners really enjoy.
This is the Baltimore, barely semi-pro sports talk. We can talk about indoor lacrosse league next. What was that? The Thunder? Was that the team that played there?
That sounds right.
Gary Gate, I think, was one of the players. A legend. Canadian lacrosse legend.
Going down the ocean, hon. Gonna have me some bows. Get in the water. Watch the Oreos.
You do that a little better than I do. I'm from Prince George's County. We don't talk like that.
Yeah. I'm from Baltimore County, sir. I can pull that off anytime I want.
All right.
Baltimore, Maryland.
If you want Kyle to do an entire episode in that accent, let us know in the comments.
Now I live in Washington.
Oh, man. That's a good one. Love it.
Oh, boy. All right. Yes, I'm sure that everyone was very amused by all of our Baltimore talk.
I think a lot of Maryland people for some reason go to Wildwood.
Uh-huh.
So you do hear that accent a lot if you go even south of Atlantic City.
Mm. It's like if once you get to Ocean City, it's all Baltimore accents.
But the Philly accent, I don't think is that different than the Baltimore accent.
The O's are a little more pronounced.
So Wildwood is just all these Philly and Baltimore people, and it's just some crazy accents going on there.
Yeah, I just remember last time we went to Do For Win sponsor Chickies and Pete's that our waitress had a very thick Philly accent.
It's great.
It was good.
It's what I want in my life. Chickies and Pete's, I mean.
I, of course, prefer a Baltimore accent, but...
All right, next episode. It's done.
We have to reach a certain Patreon funding level to get that to happen, I think.
Or drunkenness level.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my first beer of the night, let's put it that way.
Well,
it's probably helped grease the gears a little bit.
I think we established that your first one was not actually a beer. Is that right?
That's fair. You're right. But not my first alcoholic beverage of the night.
I'm still on my first. The quality, the same.
Anyway, if you want to reach out to us or any of our other listeners, you can do so at facebook.com/group/doforwin. Find all of our incredible Baltimore-related content at baltimoredoforwin.com.
That's the offshoot. We're expanding.
Yeah.
We've proven the business model, and now we're scaling up.
Certainly. I mean, we've raked in so much money that expansion seemed like the only reasonable choice.
You have raked in a lot of reward credits at the Horseshoe Baltimore, so that's profit.
Yeah, I certainly have. And I spent a lot of them on you and Taylor at the Quai. So
it's profit for me, too.
Yeah, that's profit more for you than me.
It's great.
You can find our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, but absolutely not YouTube. You can reach out to us on Twitter at addresses previously given in the episode, so I hope you were paying attention. And same thing with the email address. And we still have shirts. If you have a loved one that really needs a shirt that will attract a lot of attention at casinos, let me tell you, go for doforwin.com and order a shirt because we have an awful lot of them. You will get a lot of comments in the casino. I can attest to that. Yes. Nothing about actually somebody listening to the podcast, but just a lot of I'm also due for a win, which is exactly what we were going for. We didn't realize that was not necessarily something that you would want. You specifically, Kyle. That's not something that you would want random people making comments to you. It actually was one of the happier moments of my life when the pit boss talked to you and Paul for a half hour about due for a win, and not me. Sitting anonymously at the table nearby. Amazing. I even pointed you out. And she's just like, that guy doesn't have a due for a win t-shirt on. You're lying. He's not wearing the shirt. Best decision of my life. And now look at all the comps I get from Ocean. That's true. It's well worth it. If I was talking to the pit boss, I'm sure I wouldn't have been rated for that time. Oh, that's definitely true. She would have gone back into the machine and been like, wait a minute. She'd be like, that guy was talking to me. He wasn't playing. Yeah. Just erase that entire hour, basically. Just take that whole session off the books. Yep.
So Spotify, speaking of Spotify, we got our year end. Since we're creators, they give you your, like, who listened to you the most and that kind of stuff. We have 2 listeners who subscribe on Spotify. That's what we found out.
Good. Congratulations to you too. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm very disappointed in all of our listeners. No one has uploaded Rube's Easter at Atlantic City yet, so I had higher hopes for you, but I guess no one wants the episode in 100% Baltimore accent.
Then that should be the prize. 100% Baltimore accent. So I don't really see how this is any different than Mark and Dr. Mike from You Can Bet on That posting a clip at the end of their episode and saying this is really obscure, and then people figure it out in like 4 minutes. We didn't get our Rubes Go to Atlantic City up in 4 minutes. Step it up, listeners.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It's exactly the same as what they did. I won't hear any different.
All right. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Send in your questions for a mailbag episode. Do it right now. If you have anything you want to ask us, send it in. And we'll talk to you all in, I don't know, week and a half or 2 weeks.
You want to know the greatest headline in the history of the New York Post?
Go ahead.
Alleged subway perv doubles as hockey referee. No one likes. That guy reffed like 50 of the games that I played in at Chelsea Piers.
And he also was a subway perv.
Busted for groping 5 women on the subway. Chelsea Piers hockey players say Jacobson is a referee no one likes, a source said.
Is it true, Craig, though?
No, he was like one of the best referees in the league.